Yo, what's going on, guys? For today's story time, I'm gonna take you back to the days of Pokemon Red and Blue, the original Pokemon games for the Game Boy, you know, Generation 1. Now, these days were magical, probably for everyone who experienced this era. You know, every kid in school had a Game Boy and Pokemon. Every recess had, you know, kids glued to their screens, training Pokemon. Every day after school, we'd just sit and just play Pokemon. Weekends were Pokemon. Pokemon was life. Like, not even like memeing on you. Pokemon was a way of life back then. You know, it felt real to us, you know. We would talk to our Pokemon because we were kids. It was real. They were our friends. Now, when I was a kid, I lived in a reasonably secluded village, and the Pokemon craze didn't really hit the village until maybe a year after the initial release of the games. So, I had asked for Pokemon Blue for my birthday, which was coming up, and this was just as Pokemon cards and the Pokemon anime and the games were really hitting hard. Like, everyone was mad for Pokemon, and I really wanted Pokemon Blue because I loved Squirtle, and, you know, Blue was his game, so to speak, so that's what I wanted. But my favorite Pokemon of all, as with a lot of kids back then, was Pikachu. And man, I had Pikachu everything. Pikachu bed sheets, Pikachu pencil case, pajamas, t-shirts, you named it, I had it. So you can only imagine how fucking hard I freaked out when I sat down to open my presents on my 7th birthday and I opened Pokemon Yellow, dude. I didn't even know this was a thing. I couldn't believe it. It's got Pikachu on the cover. And not just that, it came with a Pikachu Game Boy. I was shaking, man. I remember, I'm shaking now reliving it. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you can't control your excitement for shit. I was running around the house screaming. And my mom had also bought me a link cable. Now, for those of you whippersnappers out there, this is the Pokemon link cable, okay? And before we had wireless technology on our handheld gaming systems, this was what you had to use to fight your friends or to trade Pokemon. Now, fast forward a couple of weeks or so. My team is made up of the 3 starter Pokemon and Pikachu, because my friend and I realized we could just start a new save, trade over the basic Pokemon, delete the save, and rinse and repeat until we both had all starters. So, you know, at this point, I'm pretty deep in the game. I'm a couple badges deep. Being a kid progressing through games, you know, it takes a lot longer than when you're an adult, but, you know, I'm in there. So I take my Game Boy to school, my link cable is packed in case anyone is trying to fuck with me at break time, you know. My Wartortle is notorious on the playground because everyone, and I mean everyone, picked Charmander. So they're all getting wrecked because, you know, water beats fire, but they didn't seem to know that. Or maybe they just thought, you know, the power of friendship was gonna help their Charmander beat mine. I don't know. So it's break time, and I've agreed to battle this kid who, for the sake of this video, we'll call Dennis, okay? And he's got a Charmeleon, just like everyone else. He's got a Geodude, a Beedrill, and a Pidgey. And I will never forget this Pidgey, okay? And you're gonna find out why, okay? So obviously he loses. Break time finishes. I pack up the Game Boy. I pack up the cable. I put my bag in the cloakroom and I go back to the classroom. Now, I don't know how it was for you guys in primary school or if you're American elementary school, but our cloakrooms where we used to, you know, hang our coats and bags, they were very separate to the classrooms. You'd have to walk a couple of minutes from the classroom to get there, you know? So, next break time comes. I'm a little late out because I didn't finish all my work on time. But when I arrived to the playground with my Game Boy and my link cable, you know, ready to throw down, there's a circle already formed around Dennis. Dennis, the kid who just got his ass beat by me. And people are talking about, oh man, his Wartortle's so good, it's beating everyone. And I'm like, Dennis doesn't have a Wartortle. So I turn on my Game Boy because I'm the only one with a Wartortle. And I load my save. I'm in the Pokemon Center. This is not where I logged off. I go to my party. Lo and behold, my Wartortle is fucking missing. And in its place is that fucking shitty little Pidgey looking me in the eye. Now, obviously, he had excused himself to go to the bathroom during class at some time and traded it over. Now, I'm mad. I am really mad. I feel like I'm about to cry. I'm shaking, but I don't. I just sit there and I kind of just glare at him. I'm staring daggers right at him. You know, break time ends and I approach him and I kind of swallow my pride. Cool Wartortle, man. Where'd you get that? Now, in my head, I had already made the decision that if he was just going to admit that he stole it from me, I was going to drop the whole thing. Because, you know, he wanted his share of the glory. I can understand that. Everyone likes to win. But this boy looks me dead in the eye and says, I caught it in the wild. And I just smile back. Because I know I'm about to end this kid's whole career. So I just look at him and I'm, okay, sure. He walks off back to class. So we're in class. He's boasting about his war turtle to everyone who will hear it. You know, oh, my bubble beam's so fucking good. Everyone's buying this bullshit story about how he caught it in the wild. You know, kids will believe any bullshit they hear. So I excuse myself from the room to go to the bathroom. And I detour to the cloakroom. And I trade my Pokemon back. But that's not enough. I could trade his cherished Charmeleon to my save. No, that's not enough either. I could delete his save file. No, that's not enough either. So I go over to the PC. Bill's PC. Release Pokemon. Bye-bye, Charmeleon. But I'm not done. I'm not content. Bye-bye, Geodude. Bye-bye, Beedrill. But the Pidgey. That fucking Pidgey. That Pidgey can stay. And then I save his game, and I leave. So lunchtime comes, we all eat our food, we pack up, we go to our bags, we get our Game Boys. And as we're walking out to the playground, you know, I stroll up next to Dennis, and I'm like, hey, buddy, want a battle? I'd love to fight that war turtle of yours. And he's all like, oh, yeah, sure, man, let's do it. So he turns on his Game Boy, and his face drops. His Game Boy is shaking in his hand. His mouth is quivering, and I see him searching through his PC boxes trying to find the Pokemon, but we both know they're not there. So his breathing gets heavier and heavier until he bursts out crying, and his eyes meet mine, and he knows. He fucking knows. And I just smile, and I get up, and I walk away. And that's the story of why you should never mess with another man's Pokemon. Okay? If you liked this completely savage story, please feel free to leave a like, and leave your condolences to Dennis in the comments. Thank you for watching.